Hate doesn't begin with violence. It starts with words, with silence, with quiet acceptance of division. In recent years, the FBI has reported a staggering rise in hate crimes across the United States. This number aren't just statistics. They represent shattered lives, communities living in fear. In 2023 alone, hate crimes surged by over 30%, not isolated incidents, but signs of a deeper societal fractures. As hate rises, protection waned. Under the Trump administration and beyond, policies designed to support marginalized communities have been rolled back. Programs addressing racial injustice, immigrant protection, and LGBTQ+ rights has been defunded. Many are left asking, who will stand for justice? San Francisco, a city of diversity, a place believed to be safe for all, regardless of who they are or where they come from. Yet, even here, hate finds its way. This is their story. This is our fight. Pat, an LGBTQ+ Asian, came to San Francisco seeking freedom and acceptance. But within a year, he became a victim of hate and violence multiple times. What should have been a safe haven became a harsh reality. Hate exists, even here. Yet, Pat's story is not just about pain, it is about resilience. By sharing his journey, he gives voice to others who have endured the same. Because behind every act of hate is a story that must be heard.
มันยากที่จะลืมกับเหตุการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นนะครับแต่ at the end of the day ท้ายสุดแล้วมันก็ต้อง live life หรือ move forward ต่อไปเหตุการณ์ครั้งแรกที่แพทโดนกระทำมันหนักหนาสาหัสกับแพทมากมันคือการล่วงละเมิดทางเพศซึ่งแพทไม่สามารถรับตรงนี้ได้เลยแพทไม่รู้เลยว่าเขามองแพทเป็นแบบใดหรือว่าแพทเป็น LGBTQ หรือว่าแพทเป็น race human แพทสับสนไปหมดเลยครับแพทยังจำได้เลยครับคำสำหรับเหตุการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นแพทกลัวมากแพทไม่สามารถรู้ตัวเองได้เลยสำหรับเหตุการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นมันเป็นอะไรที่เหมือนฝันร้ายมากสำหรับแพทอยากให้มันผ่านไปให้เร็วที่สุดแพทภาวนา
That night, Pat was simply being himself, dressed up, celebrating. But on his way home, he was attacked for being LGBTQ+, for being Asian. The assault left more than physical wounds. It stole his sense of safety, living scarred deep within his heart. San Francisco was supposed to be a place of acceptance, but that night, hate found him in the shadows. The trauma lingered, not just in his body, but in his fear, his silence, his struggle to heal.
แพทผิดหรอที่แพทอยากทำอะไรแพทอยากแต่งหน้าแพทอยากทำตัวให้มีความสุขแพทอยากใช้ชีวิตทำไมสิ่งนี้มันต้องเกิดขึ้นกับแพทผิดหรอที่เป็น LGBTQ who live in San Francisco แพทต้องการแค่จะใช้ชีวิต live my life normalแล้วแพทก็โดนทำลายอีกครั้งแต่แพทมั่นใจได้เลยว่าครั้งนี้มาจากความเกลียดชังและการเหยียดเชื้อชาติ
Pat had just begun to heal, to reclaim his sense of self. But hate doesn't wait. Months later, it found him again. This time there was no doubt. It was pure hatred. A stranger, racial slurs, violence meant to break him. That alley may be behind him, but its shadows lingered. The fear, the pain, it doesn't fade overnight. His wounds have healed, but the scars remain. Yet, Pat refused to let hate define him. He holds on to hope for a world where kindness wins, where no one lives in fear for being who they are.
นับจากเหตุการณ์ที่เกิดขึ้นกับแพทจะไม่ยอมปล่อยตัวเองให้อยู่กับความหวาดกลัวอีกต่อไปแต่แพทจะเปลี่ยนตัวเองเป็น force for good จะลุกขึ้นสู้ที่แพทออกมาพูดในวันนี้นะครับแพทอยากเป็นกระบอกเสียงให้ทุกๆคนที่ถูกทำร้ายลุกขึ้นมาสู้เหมือนแพทครับ
Pat's story reminds us hate still exists, but so does hope, so does resilience. Together, through support, compassion, and action, we can create a world where hate loses and humanity wins.
Hello, I'm Ratha Chun. I am the Director of Programs with the Southeast Asian Development Center, and we are located here in San Francisco. I think it's very important to validate their feelings. Oftentimes, survivors feel that they're not being listened to or their story is not heard. We here provide active listening. We also provide a safe space for those who want to share their story. And also importantly is offering choices. Oftentimes they don't have a choice in this matter, but by giving them choices, it not only empowers them, but it also strengthens them as well in moving forward in this journey towards healing. And so being able to create that safe space builds trust, and when you build trust, they are able to open a little bit more and share with you their needs, and therefore you're forging sort of this partnership where you're assisting these survivors in moving forward with their lives. I think that we first have to recognize that trauma manifests differently in different cultures, and that oftentimes distress survivors aren't able to verbalize their distress in the Western terms. So it's very important for us to approach survivors with patience and also willingness to listen and understand. Here at the Southeast Asian Development Center, we have a multicultural staff with multilingual capabilities that not only understand the cultural but linguistic nuances as well of the survivors and those in our communities. It's very important to be able to connect that with the survivors, someone who is able to speak their language and look like them, and also understand where they're coming from and look at approaches that are non-Western approaches. When we talk about Asian hate crimes, being familiar with that context, being familiar with the background, its culture, really says a lot about taking that next step forward in helping the survivors rebuild their lives. You are not alone. No matter how lost or overwhelmed you feel, your journey is not over. You've endured so much, and that's a true testament to your strength, and that is truly something very powerful. Sometimes the journey is not a straight path, but more so ones that go in different ways or that it curves. But taking that step forward is actually taking a huge step towards not only rebuilding your life, but also regaining it back from what was taken from you. So I say this in that you are not alone. We are here to support, we are here to listen, and we are here to amplify your story. The blaming culture is outdated. You should never have to blame yourself. That is not something that we believe in. You know, it's the perpetrator's fault, and what you have is your own self. So we stand by you, we stand by your story, and we're more than happy to help share that to the world. Here at the Southeast Asian Development Center, our ultimate goal is to see a healthy, thriving Southeast Asian community, and not just the Southeast Asian community, but the communities here in the Tenderloin as well. We've been a fabric of the community here for a very long time, with 50 years actually coming up in terms of the diaspora of Lao, Cambodians, as well as the Vietnamese community. And the organization have different programs and services. For example, we do work with the therapists as well as wellness workshops to help survivors in their healing journey. But aside from that, we also have various events as well, from safety trainings to community solidarity events. And we also have an employment specialist here that helps our client find jobs, get job placement. So there's a multitude of services here at the Southeast Asian Development Center that ultimately contributes to not only creating a pipeline of community leaders in the future, but also, again, a healthy and thriving community for all.